Hey YouTube, Scott here, talking about Insidious The Last Key. I'm a big fan of the first two especially. Three I think is still a pretty solid movie. I still think it's really good, but it's not as good as the first two. I love the first two though. I think I might even love the second one more than the first one, but I love them both. I'm a big fan of the franchise. It's around the same as the third one. It's a solid movie. It's not bad. If you're a fan of the franchise, it's at least pretty solid. I don't think it's going to win over anybody that's not a fan of the franchise though. Heck yeah, if you didn't like the first two, you're not going to like this one. But I did. I like the first two and everything, and this one's pretty good. It's got some problems I'll talk about, and it's got some good things. The good things I really like. Honestly, some of the bad things about it might be worse than anything in the third one to me. The third one was just mostly pretty good and solid, but this one has really highs that like elevate it to like. If this one didn't have the bad things about it, this one would be like very close to the first two to me. But then there were some lower things, some bad things that brought it down for me. This movie, The Last Key, is all about Elise. She's the main character this time, and she's kind of become like the main leading star of this franchise, which is insane. She's like 74 or something like that, in a good way. It's insane in a great, amazing way. It's really cool. I can't, like, first off, 74-year-old women, like, or how old she's in her 70s at least, they barely ever even get roles in Hollywood. Nonetheless, be like the main character in a big horror franchise. She's like a major character in this whole franchise, and she's the main star of this movie. That's crazy, and a really cool badass way. That's awesome. And she rocks it. Lynch's amazing in this movie. It's about another case that she takes. Leading up to the first one, is the chronology is kind of could be a little confusing here. The third one would for most of this movie takes place after the third one. The third one was a prequel to the first two. The case that's like the present time for this movie, where most of the stuff is, you get a lot of flashbacks in this movie to with the adult at least in this movie, is after the third one but before the first two. It leads up to the first one. And this new case brings her back to her childhood home or house. She actually makes a point to say it wasn't a home really, and that brings back a lot of memories. And she revisits some of her family there, and you learn a lot about Elise. There's a significant segments of flashbacks. You see her as like a little kid and also as like a teenager. Those are both really cool. Those are also maybe my favorite parts of the movie. Especially I really like seeing the flashback parts and seeing so much of Elisa's backstory and childhood. I thought that was really cool and really well done. I thought the actors for young Elise were really good too. I like seeing her family, and I really like the emotional part of this movie. Some of the demon stuff and like the creatures look pretty cool. They always do. I mean, they always look good. The effects and stuff. I think they look cool, and there's some good effective tension and suspense and some good scary stuff. It has a good amount of jump scares, which I'm okay for legit jump scares that lead to something actually scary. But what I don't like are what I call fake jump scares, where like it's a jump scare with starting noise and stuff, but it's not actually that it doesn't actually like nothing actually scary actually happens with the jump scare. Like, I'm cool if like something suddenly happening with like loud noise if it's actually scary. That's cool. There's a good amount of both in this movie. Which the fake ones do kind of annoy me. I feel like there's more of those in this movie than there was in the other three, or at least than I remember in the first two for sure. This is a fun movie. It's a fun horror movie to see with a crowd. And I guess now on to the bad stuff. I can't really be too specific because I don't want to talk spoilers about it or anything. And I don't want to do like a whole spoiler section or anything. It's not worth it. But it would involve spoilers to actually really to really explain why. But just some of the things that happened, mainly the last act, like some of the narratively some things that happened. One thing in specific, and one thing specifically, I get why it happened from like an emotional and also figurative way. It makes sense with the emotional arc of this movie, and I get it, but like narratively it doesn't really make that much sense. There's a few things with the story of what's happening that kind of are a little messy narratively and give you a lot of questions. Don't really make sense. Some of the humor in this movie it doesn't work. It's mostly all from the, I think they're called Tucker and Specs. I just call them the sidekicks. The other characters that have been in all four movies, but I just call them sidekicks. One of which is Lee Winnell, who also writes all these movies. They're in here a lot, and they kind of I think feel like they kind of amped up their humor. Some of it's fine and works, and I like some of it. Some of it is very cringy. It's mainly because of a certain element. I guess I can go ahead and say this. We meet Elise's nieces and stuff in this movie. She has two nieces, and that we meet, and Tucker and Specs are like hitting on the nieces a lot, and it's honestly really creepy. And there's especially a certain element with them, especially that's very cringy and very weird and creepy and cringy, and then Lee Winnell wrote that for himself to do, so that's kind of weird. Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of them in this movie overall. There are a couple moments where I like them, but overall I found it pretty cringy and creepy in this movie. That's basically all my negatives from the movie, which I think that bounces out to be a solid movie. It's around what I feel about the third one, like I said. It's a pretty good movie. If you're a fan of the franchise, I do recommend checking it out. It's worth it. Especially for being the fourth movie in a franchise, it's pretty dang good. And that about wraps up my thoughts on it. I think I would give it, I think I'm going to go down to a B-, but solid still, I think. It's definitely fresh, definitely worth seeing if you're a fan of this stuff in this franchise. And Lynn Shay kills it, and I think it's really, really cool that she's, like, the lead in this franchise, and, like, the main, she gets this whole movie with, like, her backstory and stuff, and it's insane. In a crazy awesome way. It's so cool. I respect the heck out of that's the case. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Insidious: The Last Key. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And click like if you like this video, and subscribe to more of my videos, please. And thanks for watching. Bye.